Okay, so tacking the elastic and casing it is probably the most difficult part, in my opinion, to making these diaper covers. So the back elastic is done a little bit differently than the leg elastic, so I'm going to start with that just to make things a little bit easier. So what you're going to do is just line up your elastic with the edge of the fabric like that, and you want to get it as close as possible, and then you're going to go ahead and just tack it sew back and forth where you made the marking on the diaper. So that's basically it. That's all you have to do to tack the elastic. So now you can go ahead and do the exact same thing on the other side, but this time you want to stretch the elastic as far as it'll go. Stretch it to the point where it won't stretch anymore, and then line it up with the other side. I really hope you can see. Line it up with the other side, the other marking that you made, and then you can go ahead and use a pen and mark it, mark the elastic, or you can just go ahead and hold it there, and then you're going to tack it again. Alright, so that's it for the back elastic, and I'm just going to trim the end off because we didn't pre-measure the elastic. That just makes things easier, in my opinion. You can go ahead and trim your thread pieces off because those might get in the way. And then what you're going to do is flip the diaper right side out, and you are going to top stitch all the way around and then case the elastic, which again can be a little bit difficult, but with some practice and some patience and attention to detail, then it should be a piece of cake. So this is what the diaper looks like with the back elastic in it. It looks all bunched up like that, and the elastic is just hanging loose inside the cover, and we don't want that, so we're going to go ahead and case it now. So what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to top stitch all the way around the back piece of the diaper. Now you can go ahead and iron this if you want, just to make the edges a little bit more crisp and clean and easier to sew, but I find that takes a little bit more time than I want, so I'm going to go ahead and just sew it the way it is. And you're going to sew as close to the edge as possible. Or you can do a 1/4 inch seam allowance if you want. It's really up to you. I like to go right to the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and start top stitching all the way around the diaper. Make sure your corners are completely filled out. So now we're at the top of the diaper. This is when we're going to case the elastic, and you can kind of see where the tacking is so you know where to start the casing. Okay, so now we've reached the tacking of the elastic. And what you're going to do is take the other end of the elastic, pull it straight, make it as straight as you can, and make sure the diaper is completely flat. And you want the elastic to be right up against the seam. And then you're going to sew around the elastic. You're not going to sew over the elastic, because if you do, then it won't be stretchy, and it won't work. So what you want to do is the elastic is 1/4 inch, so I'm going to make the seam allowance just for the back part here 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and sew down a little bit, and then I am going to case the elastic very carefully, slowly, without sewing over it. We are going to go all the way around it. Once you've reached the end of the elastic, you can move back up to the edge of the diaper and continue top stitching all the way around. Okay, so that is it for the back elastic, and I'll just show you what it looks like. It's nice and bunched up in the back, and that's what it looks like. So now we're going to do the same thing, but just a little bit modified for the leg elastics. What we're going to do is you can go ahead and top stitch the front yoke if you want, but you can also leave that for the last step if you want. It's up to you. Because there is no elastic in the front, we don't have to worry about any casing. But for now, I'm just going to show you how to do one leg elastic. So like I mentioned before, we're going to tack the elastic right where the yoke ends. So that would be right here. So you can see right where the yoke ends, that's where we're going to be tacking the leg elastic. The leg elastic is a little bit trickier because we're going to be folding over the edge and casing it rather than having two pieces of material to just sew together. So you want to make sure that you tack the elastic in a spot where there's enough room to fold over the elastic and then sew it. So I like to leave about 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to tack it. And then do the same thing on the other end. Okay, so now that we've got both ends of the leg elastic tacked down, what we're going to do is pull the elastic tight like that, and then we're going to fold. It's really hard to do this on camera. We're going to fold the fabric over the elastic like that, and then sew it down just as before without sewing the elastic itself. So you want to sew around it and make a little case for it. So this can be a little bit difficult, but with some practice and some patience, you can get the hang of it. And this is probably about my 5th diaper that I've done, and with a little bit of playing around, it does get easier. So pulling the elastic tight, wrapping the fabric around it, we are going to sew around the elastic. And it helps if you go slowly so that you can feel where the elastic is so you don't sew over it. Right, so just to give you an idea, this is what the diaper cover looks like with a pre-fold in it, which is this one, and then an insert in it, which is this one over here. Now this insert isn't any specific brand, neither is the pre-fold. The pre-fold I actually made myself. The insert I bought at a local baby store, which I think was actually made by the owner of the store. So no specific brand of insert, it just looks like this. And it goes in just like that. And the good thing about these flip style covers is that if the baby hasn't soiled it, if it's not dirty, you can just wipe it down, let it dry, and you can use it multiple times in one day rather than changing it out and using a completely new diaper at every change. So one cover could last you 1, 2, maybe 3 changes, and it'll definitely save up on laundry. So this is what it'll look like. Like I mentioned before, I don't have any Velcro to sew on it just yet, but that's what it looks like. This is a size small for an 8 to 15 pounds. So I think it turned out really well considering my lack of sewing experience, but that's what the leg hole looks like. It's nice and small, it's not too big. There's the other side, and then the top of the diaper, the back, it's nice elastic to it, and then you can go ahead and add your closure. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them below, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!